I want to congratulate you. Outside of your concern about the rim offense for the Dallas Mavericks with Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, this has been a very positive and uplifting show.
Yeah.
And we're going to wrap this up with the Suns and Phoenix series.
Okay.
So I want...
and all that shit just went out the window. That's fine. That's fine. This is fine. This is getting more. This is getting more to my nature.
No, I mean, I need some positivity right now.
I just gave you a ton. How much do you want, man? How much do you want? Huh? It's not all butterflies and unicorns in here, man. Sometimes you got to get real. Listen. Here's what I was thinking about in watching Game 2.
All right.
Phoenix, Minnesota. Couple things. First, I'm noticing as these games are going on, the first 2 games, Minnesota is getting stronger as the games go on. Phoenix is getting weaker. They're getting more demoralized. They're getting more defeated. They're having a harder time finding the competitive will. I came to the conclusion in watching the Suns the other night, I don't think that this team is mentally or physically tough enough for this series. Not for that team. They've got 3 really committed perimeter defenders, man, that are locked in, and they're funneling you to all that size. It's an awful lot of work for a team that doesn't really do things, I don't think, easily offensively, the way that they operate. And so this might be the worst team for the Phoenix Suns to play in the first round. And I just saw at some point they let go of the rope in that game. Despite what they said after the game, I didn't see that. I didn't feel that. They wore them down. I don't know that the change of venue is going to have a huge impact on that. You have 3 elite offensive players. None of them were exceptional in a given game. How are you supposed to win a game? You got 3 of those guys. None of them were great. All of them had 6 made field goals. Jaden McDaniels had 10 made field goals in the game. Okay. All 3 of those guys, 6 for 13, 6 for 15, 6 for 17. And I'm giving a lot of credit to Minnesota's defense. I think some of it is Phoenix's offense and, Grayson Allen, I think not having him and getting hurt and just not being really a guy that they're letting have any space affects their spacing and affects some things they do. But for the most part, I'm giving the credit to Minnesota's defense. When we do positive, there you go. There's the positivity. Let's pat them on the back. But come on, I'm looking at the Suns and I'm saying I don't think this is going to end well for them.
Okay. We'll see if they can turn it around. Hopefully Allen's back in the lineup. They do have till Friday night for him to do that. I did touch this morning as well on the Minnesota defense. It's actually fun. As a player who's like, I don't like defense. It's actually really fun to watch.
Yeah,
I mean that. Like, particularly in that environment, with the playoff, just the general openness to grabbing and using your hands and beyond that, though, those guys, they're good laterally. They have great length. I think they're naturally physical. And then they got Gobert on the back line. Yeah. They're a fun team to watch because of that.
I also want to give, we'd be remiss if I didn't just give this shout out to Anthony Edwards for the game the other night, because young players that are emerging the way that he is and as good as he was in game 1, and it's not their night offensively, okay? They can maybe go get a little bit inside their own head, be too focused on that, maybe get a little bit pouty, whatever it may be. And I'd actually cut a guy slack for that at that age to do that, right? It's a big moment. They want to be great every night. The fact that he never got going offensively and it never changed his overall, number one, effort, right? That's first. But secondly, his vibe that he was putting off was that he didn't care about anything other than what the score was. That's all he cared about. Win the game at all costs. I don't care. It's not my night. That's great. The way he was handling himself in huddles, the way he was greeting guys coming off the court, he has taken a massive leap forward in his leadership. Right before our eyes.
It's a big moment for a young player on that stage to be able to carry himself that way.
No doubt, man. He had one field goal for how long in the game, and this is like coming off the game 1. Like I would understand it almost if a guy acted that way. That's that age,
right? You're talking. Think about after game 1,
yeah,
right, and think about the last 2.5 months since the All-Star break. Who's the next face of the NBA? Who's the next?
All that.
Then he has that big game one. Oh, look at Anthony Edwards, the next face of the
dunk.
NBA. Yeah.
That was replayed like globally for 3 days that he had, right?
Yeah.
All that stuff.
The moment with KD in game one where he's yapping at him after the bucket.
Yeah.
And it's like, then to carry himself that way,
I was
in an off game,
impressed, man.
Yeah,
because that was a question I had about them with a guy that young as your best player and his polish to close games and whatnot. I was wondering about that. Their defense is incredible. I fall in love with that team more and more every night that I watch them. I probably haven't given them enough credit all season as a legitimate threat. Their fans, I think, probably feel that way about me, which is fine. But they're growing on me every single night, and I was so impressed with his maturity on a night when he didn't have it offensively. He was a leader despite that. And I think that's a massive step forward for him and his evolution as a player, because he definitely has the competitive will to be great. He wants it. And some nights it's not going to be your night. How do you conduct yourself? And I thought you couldn't ask any more out of him in game two.